In the gospel reading for today, Jesus is teaching in a synagogue. What happens? As he's preaching, a man oppressed by an evil spirit encounters him. This man was in their synagogue. The possessed man didn't follow Jesus inside. He didn't wander in from the street. He was there in the pew, so to speak. Why? How did he get in? What is going on here? He had likely been there for each week for a long time as a faithful attendee. And when Jesus walked into his life, something had to change. Meaning, meeting Jesus truly changes this man's life and grants him a freedom that he could not attain in any other way. When we have a genuine encounter with Jesus, it forces things to a head. Catholic speaker Matthew Kelly refers to these moments as decision points, a place where a choice or a decision must be made. Simon Peter had one of these in a few verses earlier when he encountered Jesus in his boat. Stay there where you are in your boat and keep catching fish, or stop. Let Jesus change his life and become a fisher of men. Literally, become a disciple and a disciple maker. This is Catholic Schools Week throughout our nation. And it's an appropriate time to talk about the purpose of Catholic education and what Catholic education is going to look like here at St. Francis de Sales going forward, starting in fact this fall. It's simple and it's easy to remember. You may have even heard it somewhere before. To make disciples and disciple makers. What we have been doing in the parish for these past 3 years, we'll now be doing in our school going forward. Another way to think of this, Catholic education at St. Francis will be designed to grow saints and shape and form fully alive human beings, not only to follow Jesus now as students, but also into their adulthood. To provide strong leaders who will lead others to follow God too, while at the same time teaching the good, the true, and the beautiful for the blessing and benefit of our human society. What is the goal for our children? For the young people of our community? Good grades? Good God. Good grades are good, yes, necessary. Entrance into a good university? Okay, that can be good too. To get a good job? Certainly, wonderful. To make $100 million? Well, you can't live on it, but it's a start. What is the end that we are looking for our children? What is the end that we want for ourselves and those who are nearest and dearest to us? Isn't it heaven? Isn't this the deepest longing of our hearts? Or shouldn't it be the deepest longing of our hearts and the hearts of our children? By focusing the education we provide here on Christ, by viewing everything that we do through the threefold lens of the good, the true, and the beautiful, we offer a greater opportunity and we offer something more. When we put the focus on heaven first, we find that we gain all of the other worldly, worthy things in life that come along with it. C.S. Lewis put it best. He's probably one of the greatest writers of the 20th century. He talks about priority. This is what he says. Put first things first, and second things are thrown in. Put second things first, and you lose both the first and the second things. Chew on that for a while. Getting back to the first things, the foundation of education, the reasons why Catholic parishes and Catholic schools exist, this is the plan going forward for our parish school. St. Francis de Sales will continue to build upon the foundation of excellence by returning to and strengthening the roots of Catholic education and the formation of the human person in Newark, and by exploring and implementing the Catholic classical education curriculum model for running schools. This means that our school will become even more robustly and authentically Catholic and Christian. Within this environment, we will look with a renewed focus on the great works of literature and art, on critical thinking, quality speaking, and sound reasoning. This model emphasizes the encounter with the person of Jesus Christ and a well-formed and well-understood and well-appreciated faith. So that rather than like most young people today who leave the practice of their faith before or by the time they enter into college, students in the Catholic classical education schools are given the ability and motivation and purpose to live, articulate, defend, treasure, and share generously their Catholic faith, and not just as students, but into adulthood. In this model, we are talking about the complete formation of young people, the education of the whole person, providing tools for each student to the fullest, mind, body, and soul. This is not a replacement of the good work that has been done previously in our school, but a getting back to the foundations and the upbuilding of it in spiritual, academic, and social excellence, and with a mission to send our students into the world, not to be changed by the world. The world has already changed all the rules, and we have not yet adjusted to it, but sent out into the world to change the world, which is what God is calling all of us as Christians to do, and what we will equip our students to do, and through them our families, and by association our parish. The education we will strive to provide at St. Francis will be a liberating force. That is, education that frees the student and provides him or her the resources and experiences necessary to think well, to think for themselves, and think with the mind of Christ, all together harmoniously rather than compartmentalized. This new model, which is actually a tried and true model for education, helps students build a life upon virtue and participate thoughtfully and generously as members of a civil society, in fact, to help restore civility to our society. Young people who seek the good, the true, and the beautiful in their own pursuit of happiness and in their contributions to that of others. A Catholic classical education in its fullness truly develops all the human faculties and personal integrity, as well as prepares young people for professional life, forms them ethically and socially, and develops their awareness of the transcendental, what goes beyond this life. It helps students see the big purpose to life and how every part fits together, their value and worth in bringing God's vision for humanity, rather than what students are being fed in classrooms across our country today about the religious, social, sexual, moral, political, and existential identities of the human person, which are often contrary not only to the truths of the Christian faith, but to reason, common sense, civility, and charity. If education is the passing on of a culture and a vision for the world, in whatever form that takes, this means that a Catholic school's purpose should be the passing along of Catholic culture and God's vision for the world, with Jesus Christ and the truth of the dignity of every human person at the center of that culture. Thus, here at St. Francis, we are choosing this way because we believe that Catholic culture is worthy of being passed along. And our children and our society and our families, our school and our parish deserve to be raised up in the freedoms that only Jesus Christ can offer. which are the foundations of our nation. Therefore, in order to hand on the traditions and treasures of our Catholic culture well, every aspect of the life of the student in our school must be touched and informed by the good, the true, and the beautiful that God offers through our faith. This means a more integral interweaving of faith in all the subjects that are being taught in the school. Learning about both the Creator and His creation, hand in hand, instead of just concentrating on created things in this world. Lessons about faith and reason together instead of just reason alone. The two together bolster a student's understanding of both and allow them to respond when either are challenged as people of faith or people of reason. Along these lines, for instance, the teaching of science in many schools only deals with the material world and explains the what and the how of creation. Fine, necessary. Faith, of course, offers the who and the why of creation. The who being the God who created, and the why, the purpose of why He created us. We will interweave both the what and the how and the who and the why to present a fuller and truer vision of the purpose of creation, whether this is the study of the formation of the universe, zoology or biology, and so on. Can Catholics believe in both the God of the Bible and what we can know from sound scientific inquiry? Of course. And we are obliged to do so. God gave us both to understand the world. This is a purposeful doubling down on passionate Catholicity and academic excellence and integrity. And every subject in our school at every grade level will be infused with this purpose and vision. St. Francis is one of more than 50 Catholic schools within the 23 counties of the Diocese of Columbus school system. Each of us with our own rich traditions, histories, and legacies. While each school has its own particular character, their approaches to academics are fairly similar and are modeled off the same approach that is used in the public schools. With our new bishop and our new Catholic school superintendent, this will be changing. Thank God. I'm happy to announce that St. Francis School has been given permission to explore the Catholic classical education curriculum and refocus our approach upon tried and true best practices of forming the total human person in light of faith and reason, academics, and the truths of the Catholic spiritual heritage. This is part of an overall strategic plan for our parish and our school, and as part of the long-range strategic planning process in the Diocese of Columbus, of which I'm a part, and which you will be hearing much more about in the coming months, both from me and from Bishop Brennan. Bishop Brennan and our diocesan superintendent of schools, Adam Default, will be allowing for a variety of models to be explored and implemented in our Catholic schools in our diocese, all with the purpose of making our Catholic schools truly excellent academically, yes, and authentically Catholic and Christian in character and mission. This variety of models will also offer much more options for families to choose from, and a viable and hopeful choice for many families who are deeply concerned about the state of education in schools in our nation today. St. Francis de Sales has been granted permission to explore and pilot the Catholic classical education curriculum model. We'll be the first in the diocese, and then part of this pilot is that then we will help to teach other schools how to do this. Our new superintendent of Catholic schools came from a diocese where this model was successfully implemented in a number of diocesan schools and with amazing results by every measure. He and his staff will assist us as we explore this model and prepare to implement it. In addition, we will look to the guidance of several other teachers and principals who have already made this transition successfully in other schools and other dioceses. Furthermore, there is such a demand today for the return to a more classical approach to education within Catholic schools across our nation that there are even institutes whose sole purpose is to guide and support schools to make this transition. This process will involve the training of our teachers, centered around the Socratic method, the interweaving of disciplines and subjects, as well as exploring the integration of new topics such as Latin, logic, and rhetoric into our teaching methodologies. And a word about our teachers. This past year, our parish school teachers here at St. Francis have been absolutely amazing. They have been nothing less than heroic in keeping our kids in the classroom, learning and growing in faith and safety and happiness and in holiness. And I want to thank them publicly now. This new, old approach to education has been shown to have measurable improvements in achievement among students of similar background. For instance, lower dropout rates, higher college enrollment rates, a much greater retention of the faith into adulthood, and the building up of leadership qualities for the next generation. When looking at standardized test scores, students from classical Catholic schools tend to significantly outscore their public school counterparts, as well as rank highly against students from other Catholic schools and private schools. They have a lower dropout rate, 3.4%, than both public, 14.4%, and other private schools, 11.9%. 99% of students who attend Catholic high schools graduate. Of those, 86 attend four-year colleges. Along these lines, 92.4% of Catholic school students who graduated from the Archdiocese of Denver in the academic year of 2015-16 went on to enroll in a four-year college. This is the diocese that our new superintendent cut his teeth. As you know, for our own lives, we don't get far in the direction that we want to go without a plan. We know what we want for our students, for our families, and for our community. Simply put, we want more, better, the best for them and for our future, and especially in this very troubling and uncertain time, we want a tried and true foundation upon which to build our lives. So, here at St. Francis de Sales Parish, we have put together a plan. And as you've already seen this plan and its positive effect in action for the past 3 years, we will continue to build upon that plan. Likewise, we're putting together a plan for St. Francis de Sales School for the next 3 years. Over the next several months, we will continue to explore the best options for our school and staff. We will explore with our teachers, the diocese, other educators and institutes across our nation who have implemented the Catholic classical education model, and we will speak with and engage parents in this process, all with the goal to help us determine the best course of action for our future. Once we have a plan in place, we will be flexible, thoughtful, and gradual, making any necessary adjustments to this plan over a 3-year period of time to make sure we do this well, acquire training and resources, and work with our students and families and teachers. If it is worth doing, then it is worth taking our time to do it right and do it well. At St. Francis de Sales, we are all about creating environments for a life-changing encounter with Jesus Christ that sticks, and which then can be a trajectory for change across our lives and sets us on a course to make disciples and disciple makers. In Scripture, everyone that encountered Jesus was left changed in some significant way. For Peter, James, John, and Andrew, their encounters with Jesus led them on a journey beyond the comfort of their own homes, their jobs, their ways of life, and moving out of the way they have done things all their life, calling them out of that comfort zone and from being like everyone else in their society, and led them to do something truly significant with their lives, to come to know, love, and serve the only person in this life truly worth following and giving themselves to over entirely. And then to go out into the world beleaguered by chaos and division and fear and bring the good, the true, and the beautiful. To bring love and hope and the vision of a better future, a better eternity because of Jesus Christ. The same thing happened to the man in today's gospel, a man possessed by evil. That is, a man who had given himself over to the lies of this world and the ways of this world, and he was no longer free. He encounters Christ, and finally, he knows freedom. Finally, he knows what it is to be truly loved. He rediscovers his worth, and that the God of the universe would take notice of him and work for his good. This forever changed the trajectory of his life and countless other people who encountered God through his words and witness. The same is possible for you and for me, for us, for our parish, for our school and our future, for our families. As we create the spaces for ourselves and so many others that God will bring here and through us, and precisely because of what is happening here, to have a life-changing encounter with Jesus Christ. Indeed, it is a good time to be here at St. Francis de Sales. St. Francis de Sales, pray for us.